I have live here in the studio with me this afternoon. And of course, I will be calling someone who is on the ground in Abuja for the inauguration to speak with him. Yes, I'm right here in the studio with me. He's a political leader. And of course, it's from the capital of Ibadan. Ibadan North is regarded as the political capital of Ibadan. He's the Secretary Apex Leaders Ibadan North Local Government. He's an author. And of course, he has been an education secretary in that same Ibadan North. If you know the political terrain, you will know that that is no mean feat in the political landscape of Oyo State. His name is Alhaji Akeem Adebiyi. I most warmly welcome you.
Thank you, the presenter and our host. So I'm sending my greetings to all the listeners at home. So, and it is my prayer that this very new government, and of course by extension new administration on both devices, shall usher in an era of prosperity and good tidings for each and every one of us. Good afternoon to each and every one of us.
Yes, you can see I just read to you the opening sentence, the opening paragraph. He said, "My confidence in its people unwavering. My love for this nation is abiding." What are your thoughts on that? You know, that particular part of it. He said, "And I know that his hand shall provide the need." He said, because his faith in God is absolute. We love to pray in Nigeria.
Well, my own perspective on that is that, it is normal. You know, it is the usual rhetorics. If anybody, you see, assuming the mantle of leadership, inspiring words of hope, and all sorts shall be read out to the people. And I think that is not what the people need for now. It is the action.
It is the action.
It is the action. So words matched with actions is quite appropriate at this very point on time, because in the recent past, all right from onset, people had come and led this very country, be it in military uniforms or barbarigan in civilian regimes, rolled out promises, rolled out tons of papers, rolled out promises and pledges. But at the end of the day, we actually observed that masses have been grossly disappointed.
You are not sounding optimistic.
I'm not sounding optimistic for now, because until the words are matched, you see, with actions.
Or do I say cautious optimism?
Yes.
Is this based on your 8 years of... because I must actually say that Alhaji Adebiyi is of the APC.
Thank you.
Is of the APC, so it is his
to
party.
To that extent, you see, my own position is that business of governance is quite different from that of politicking.
Certainly.
Right?
But I just, you know...
I have to say this simply because he's not the president of APC now. He's the president of the whole Nigeria. And if you read the moods of the people, most especially those who placed high premiums on his capacity and competence to govern this very particular state, right, you observe that the expectations are very, very high. Anything short of that, I mean, in terms of his performance, right, may even pitch the people against him. So it is my prayer that he lives up to expectations.
Well, beyond prayer,
once beaten,
you see,
excuse me, sir. Once beaten, twice shy.
Yes, we have to move rapidly because of time.
In retrospect, in 2015,
I think we have to leave Buhari. Buhari is over and done with.
Yes.
Buhari is history.
Yeah, but,
we are looking forward. No.
My brother, we cannot separate the
present from the past. We are not going to talk about Buhari today.
We cannot separate the past from the
present.
We
are not going to talk about Buhari today. Right. Buhari is over and done with. We stumbled, we look back for 8 years, we're looking ahead now. Buhari is history. Let historians write about him.
Okay.
But it's history, sir. That's the fact of history,
Yeah.
too. Now, the president, commander-in-chief, he said, our government will continue to take proactive steps such as championing a credit culture to discourage corruption while strengthening. Okay, he said, I mean, that's one of the principles he will be working by. Championing steps such as availability of a credit culture. Okay, he said Nigeria will be impartially governed according to the constitution and the rule of law. He said we shall defend the nation from terror and all forms of criminality that threaten the peace and stability of our union. We shall remodel our economy to bring about growth and development. Now, he said, he talked about them specifically and from security. He said, security shall be top priority because neither prosperity nor justice can prevail amidst security.
Challenges.
He said to effectively tackle this menace, we shall reform both our security doctrine and its architecture. During the Buhari era, we had only of architecture. He is talking of doctrine now.
Thank you. In the first instance, I would like to posit here that I'm here as a Nigerian and independent of my partisan interest. Because
you are a Nigerian first before being a political party.
And we need to hammer points, nails on its head. So be that as it may. Now, I will still go back to the issue of rhetorics and the issue of historical perspectives, because without the past, we cannot have the present. The past leads to the present. Now, you spoke about the security architecture, which was actually itemized by the outgone administration, as I will put it. However, this man has equally outlined has actually outlined his policy and his readiness to tackle the security challenges on its head. Meanwhile, all amounts to rhetorics. What people need is actions. And I'm saying this simply because people are fed up about government coming
when you talk about action,
reeling out rhetorics, right?
Is there 4 hours in office?
Yes, saying is not did, right? We would like to see him to actualize or activate all these programs of action. He spoke on the range of issues, bordering on contemporary issues in the
we are going to be going step by step.
All right.
Yeah. Now,
so let me conclude. Let me draw reasonable inference from what you have just said. We knew that one of the greatest challenges of the outgoing administration is the security, and without good security, peace and tranquility cannot triumph, cannot be put in place. And in the absence of peace and tranquility, no meaningful progress could be made in terms of social and economic and political development. So at this very juncture, I think it is up to the new administration under the leadership of Tinubu to do the needful, because that is our foremost challenge, and it is across board, but most pronounced in the northern parts of the country and the southeastern part of the country. That of southwest, I think it is normal to some reasonable extent.
I want you to address this particular issue regarding security.
Yeah.
Throughout the 8 years, all we had was security architecture. In the space in which I work, for months on end, we talked of nothing else but security and security and security. It was only COVID that took it from us for a while.
Thank you.
And then we went back to it.
Thank
now, the new president is talking about a military doctrine, security doctrine. You know, when I'm a student of war and diplomacy, so when the man talks about his security doctrine, that means not just the structure of the security.
Okay.
He will be looking at the underpinnings. Why are we, this is what we are doing. Okay, this building needs refurbishing. This, remove the window, remove the roof. But he is talking about even the design now. That is the military doctrine, the security doctrine.
Okay.
That rather than just look at refurbishing the structure, let us even look at the design. How did we arrive at this design to tackle these challenges? That is fundamental.
Thank you. It is here said than done. All is still amongst two doctrines. Now, coming to the nitty-gritty, right? The mistake which the Algon administration actually made was that the administration failed to look inwards.
How do you mean,
Right?
sir?
Yes, looked inwards, searching for those people who are confirmed saboteurs, because there is no action without reaction, right? It is crystal clear that there are those people, there are sponsors for all the means in this very country, most especially in the northern part of the country, and those people found caught in the web of this very sabotage are power brokers. Having said that, right,
That is
the government
speculation.
failed. No, I will not regard that as speculations, because the security reports, the intelligence reports actually pointed in that direction, and all those findings were published in the newspaper when the security operatives were pushed to the wall. So, having said that, I will still regard the new president's speeches in respect of that as rhetorics until
When
he
you
actually
say
come up
this is
until he
rhetoric,
actually come up with pragmatic solutions. You see, to
okay. I think I need to ask
pragmatic
this.
steps to
When you start, you are
abate that very
dismissing even his inaugural speech as
I'm not
mere-
dismissing it.
you have
Let-
said
excuse
repeatedly
me.
that it is
All
rhetoric.
inaugural speeches are wishes.
They are not
Agree.
wishes. They cannot be
I'm
wishes.
putting it to you that they are wishes.
They
They are
cannot-
wishes, right? We had inaugural speeches in the past, but how many of those inaugural speeches were implemented to the letter? Just like we had budget presentations. We had budget presentations year in, year out.
I'm
And
sure,
we are in.
I'm sure you know very well that governments are not bound by budget. They are estimates.
Estimates. Even at that, I think what
That's
is
why
what
they
what
make-
is what doing at all is what doing well. How many of such budget presentations or estimates had come to fruition? You will be seeing 40% activation, 40%, 30% success, 70% success. You see, alluring to certain factors which make it practically possible to actualize the presentations. So I think as somebody who is pragmatic in my approach to life, I will still regard that presentations, I mean the inaugural speech, as I will take it as a pinch of salt, right? Until it comes to fruition. So that is it. Until it comes to fruition.
So
Because
it is not
once
something-
beaten twice shy.
What
It
is
is
the
not.
meaning of that?
It is not. Yes, it is. We have our experiences in the past.
with
Thank you. In 2015, Buhari made such presentations. Even before such presentations, Obasanjo did his. And in 2007, Yar'Adua did this. Jonathan did this. You see, we have many sordid experiences, very painful experiences that will be. So presentations, right? Inaugural addresses, rhetorics doesn't amount to anything until all are
They set
activated
out
or
the-
transformed into actions.
they set out definitely. Okay, what is their purpose?
Thank you. The purpose is to assure the people, to assuage their feelings that, well, it is going to be well, it is going to be better.
Is it about saying it is going to be well or setting an agenda?
Setting an agenda is part of it. Are you with me? But one thing is to set an agenda, another thing is to implement it to the letter. It is two different. There are two different things, right? Making presentations full of agenda, full of pledges, promises. But at the end of the day, we have always ended up with broken pledges.
Now,
with unbroken regularity.
Now, I think I have to put this to you.
Yeah.
That, do you desire good governance?
Yes.
Okay. What should be your role in ensuring that good governance is delivered?
Thank you.
As a citizen.
Thank you. In the first instance, right, we are operating under constitutional democracy. We are operating constitutional democracy, right? Once anybody that is popularly elected by the people is there, are you with me? Is to identify the needs of the people, the needs of the state, and to do the needful. And the contemporary issues in the political administration are always constant. Vis-a-vis education, agriculture, security, infrastructure, transportation, provision of water resources, health, and so on and so forth. I think those are fixed programs. And I think the present president has already outlined many things in his renewed hope agenda. And
will you give him a chance?
Yes.
How much of time will you give him before you start applying the hammer? You're already knocking him on the head.
No, I'm not knocking him on the head. You see, I am being practical.
Or being pessimistic?
Yes, I'm not being pessimistic. But I'm talking from experience. I'm talking from experience, right? You see, this Africa of a thing.
Those experiences, has this killed hope?
Harrowing experiences.
Okay, let's look forward.
Harrowing experiences.
Let's address the issues. That is for security.
Yeah.
I would like to talk about is monetary policy as enunciated.
Yes.
And I quote from the inaugural speech: monetary policy needs thorough house cleaning. The central bank must work towards a unified exchange rate. This will direct funds away from arbitrage into meaningful investment in plant, equipment, and jobs that power the real economy. That means official, we have the one they call official rate.
Yes, and
then we have the parallel rate.
Yeah. I think he has unified that. I quite belong to the same school of thought, you see, with his presentation on that monetary policy. However, the bane of that very monetary policy is corruption. And with this Emefiele in place, I don't think anything meaningful can be achieved.
What will Emefiele have to do with the unification
Thank you. He's in charge.
Yes.
And he work in unison with the Ministry of Finance and the Budget Office, right? And one is a whole. So what I think is that with the benefit of hindsight and with Emefiele's solid performances in that office, he cannot be trusted. He cannot be trusted.
Well, it should be left for the president to decide
because let us talk about his records. For instance, the Naira design
we will get there. Okay. We're taking these things.
Okay. At any rate, anything that will bring, that will strengthen the Naira and weaken the dollar against our Naira is welcome. And I think it is a policy. In that policy is in good direction. So it's in line.
Yeah. And he went ahead to say, whatever the merits it had in concept, the currency swap was too harshly applied by the CBN given the number of unbanked Nigerians. The policy shall be reviewed. In the meantime, my administration will treat both currencies as legal tender.
That is okay. Because that very Naira design policy also is a failure. It's an abysmal failure because it has brought pains and pangs to Nigerians, majority of Nigerians. And the people actually suffered under that very obnoxious policy.
Why did it fail? Or why do people think it failed?
Thank you. It failed. Not that people think it failed. Right? You are in Nigeria and you knew what actually happened. You are not a banker. Not to talk that you will be having access to easy cash. Number one, right? That very policy was not well thought out.
I think you need to tell us more.
Yes. Number two, the new Naira notes as designed were not sufficient in circulation, even up to now. Number three was that, well, the policy was hijacked by the novel riches in the society to the extent that the average Nigerian did not even have access to that money. So it brought, and simultaneously, the old Naira notes were phased out. Right? I think it should be a gradual process. It should be a gradual process, not to talk of maybe taking panicky or hurried measures regarding the phasing out of the old notes. Right? I think this very kind of exercise was carried out in the United Kingdom, and it was not done in a hurry. Until now, they are still the old notes. The old notes are coexisting with the new notes.
Don't forget.
And I think the present president, has done well that for the meantime, both currencies should coexist in order to alleviate the sufferings of other people. Because when you exist as the head of state and you enhance anti-people policy, right, it is not good. I mean, not a Pharaoh of Egypt. The welfare of the people should be the ultimate target of an average political leader or king, right? Then where is the welfare when you made such policies that actually bring hardships to the well-being of the people? It is not good. It is throughout the country. It is only insignificant people. I mean, the inconsequential.
Was it the design of the execution, or both?
Both design. It wasn't the design, but the execution, the implementation. It was ill-timed. It was badly implemented.
You say it was ill-timed. They targeted politicians too.
Yes.
So it is ill-timed.
It was ill-timed in the sense that you don't do right. The people who play politics, right, in terms of numerical strength, are quite very, very low in terms of ratio to the masses, right? To the masses, if the people practicing politics now are 20 million, the people who are not, just target 20 million compared to 200 million or thereabouts, right? Isn't that a huge difference? That's a huge difference, right? You don't simply because you want to kill a rat and set the whole building ablaze or put it on fire. It is not done. If failure is a failure, that policy is a failure. The design itself, it's a failure, right? It's a failure. Yes. Emefiele will be relieved of his post.
Oh, you say that so authoritatively?
Yes, I'm saying it authoritatively simply because he's a misfit, right? In a civilized clime, in a sane clime, if the public outcry it was anything to go by, that man, even if he's not a flippant, he should have resigned his position as the CBN governor. because there was a public cry against his continuous stay in
All
office.
right. Now, one of the major challenges, apart from the issue of this monetary policy and the economy, that this new administration is confronted with is what they call subsidy.
Yes.
And the former administration actually removed the subsidy before they left, and they set a date which is 1st of June for it to take effect. And of course, borrowed $800 million US to be distributed.
$800 million.
Yes, to be distributed to 60 million Nigerians to cushion the effect of the removal of subsidy on PMS. And the president, in his inaugural speech, said, and I quote, "We commend the decision of the outgoing administration in phasing out the petrol subsidy regime, which has increasingly favored the rich more than the poor. Subsidy can no longer justify its ever-increasing cost in the wake of drying resources. We shall instead rechannel the funds into better investment in public infrastructure, education, healthcare, and jobs that will materially improve the lives of millions."
Thank you. Each and every one of us actually appreciates the fact that fuel subsidy is a scam. However, there is a way of killing an animal without shedding blood. Now, I think the incoming administration shall be pushing.
But
its
at the end of the
law
day, you kill the animal.
Excuse me.
Whether you cut the head or you
Don't shed
twist
blood.
the neck.
Because once the blood is there, I think it is a crime. Now, I want to posit that the incoming administration shall be pushing its luck too far.
They are no longer incoming, they are here.
They are here, right? By removing the subsidy. Number one,
He didn't say they are removing subsidy. He said we commend the decision of the outgoing administration in phasing out subsidy.
If you said 1st of June, and then the administration left wound up by 29th May. Are you with me? So what I'm saying in essence is that, well, the policy that will bring pains and pangs to the people.
I think we're going to take a commercial break. We'll be back shortly.
All right. It's not the best.
Na midnight you dey so you dey receive one important call. Na so you just hear
you have 1 minute remaining.
Sharp you don begin check your wallet. But to cash no come dey. How e for be if you go fit recharge without cash and dem still sama you bonus on top your recharge anytime? Your credit don nearly finish? No wahala. Just download my MTN NG app to recharge your MTN line. Abi make you dial *904# to buy airtime straight from your bank account to fiam any day, anytime, and enjoy 15% awoof bonus on top any amount wey you recharge. Na so e be o, very easy. MTN, wetin we dey do today? 939 is the dial.
Thank you so much for staying with us. The conversation continues this afternoon on Solutions 93.9 FM. And of course, it's inaugural day across the length and breadth of Nigeria. 28 governors elected, 18 new ones, fresh ones, first time of office, and of course 10 have been sworn into office for a second term of office. Well, we also saw into office a president, commander-in-chief, and his vice president in Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Of course, Oyo State saw in Engineer Oluwaseyi Abiodun Makinde for a second term of 4 years in office. having won re-election on the 18th of March, year 2023. Well, we're taking a look at Abuja and Oyo State, Obudu 2.0. Abuja, which is Nigeria, hope renewed. Hope renewed. And I have with me here a text of his inaugural speech, and we're looking at the pillars and the principle the president set out in his inaugural address. And of course, with me, Alhaji Akeem Adebi, an author, a politician of the APC hue. He's been an education secretary in the Ibadan North, and of course, is the secretary, Apex Leaders of Ibadan North local government, the one they call the capital of Ibadan politically. Alhaji Akeem Adebi, thank you for joining us live in the studio this afternoon on a day like this.
Thank you.
Before we went on that break, we were talking about
The subsidy.
the subsidy and how the president put it. He said, we commend the decision of the outgoing administration in phasing out petrol subsidy.
Yes,
And
he
you
said
said-
in the inauguration that it took effect from June 1, right? And the government actually wound up on May 29, be that as it may. Now, I think the present government shall be taking its luck too far by removing the subsidy outrightly without weighing options. Number one, all of us were very happy when the Dangote Refinery was commissioned the other time. And the man actually promised it to start operating, selling out the products by August 21. And we were made to understand this as well. The refinery under reverence is capable of producing more than our sufficient needs. I mean the local consumption, and others, the leftovers shall be exported. I think what we have been operating 8 years ago, right? I think waiting for 2 or 3 months, right, for that very thing to happen, you see, will not even do us any harm. Having said that, the labor movement, I mean the labor sector, I think the labor force or workforce is that very sector that creates wealth which sustains the nation. And they actually made arrangements to meet the government. Because once the alternative solution is in place, there is no point taking all this.
Is Dangote Refinery a solution?
A solution. Simply because.
Okay, why do you call it a solution?
I called it a solution simply because for local consumption, we were made to understand that the outfit shall be producing more than sufficient. And the leftover shall be exported.
When you say producing, is it producing for Nigeria?
Yes! For local consumption.
Is it owned by Nigeria?
It's owned by private
is he
sector.
not a businessman?
As a businessman, I think the government provided the enabling environment, and I think the government equally has some interest in that very
That's a
outfit.
business.
Apart from being a business, business services are meant to serve the people. I think my point is that
we have to get some things very clear.
Okay.
Let me tell you about Dangote. Dangote, number one, is located in the export processing zone.
Yes.
That means taxes will be paid.
Mm-hmm.
It is not considered to be in Nigeria because of its location. Export processing zone. Taxes will be imposed.
I beg to differ. I beg to differ in the sense that
Why? What are you going to differ about?
I'm differing simply because number one, right, it is located within Nigeria and within the Nigeria territory, and again, the government did a lot for that very candidate you put.
He lent them money.
Yes.
Oh, government.
Yes.
Government lent Dangote money. Excuse me, sir.
You can ask people.
Excuse me, sir. Government did not. Excuse me, sir. I don't want to.
Government provided incentives for the.
Government bought into it. Government did not lend him money.
Government bought into it. How?
Government bought a stake.
How?
Government bought a stake.
Mm-hmm.
You go to the stock market, you put your money there. Is that lending? If you buy a stake in MTN
even at that, right? I want to tell you that Nigerians, right, have a stake in that very particular.
This is
company.
a business.
Apart from being a business, is a Nigerian brewery not a business?
Oh.
Is it not serving Nigerians?
Are we not
Right?
paying? Are we not paying market price?
Yes, we are paying market price, but it will be quite different from the ones we are paying now. That is the perception.
Eh? Oh, that's perception.
Yes, that is the perception. That is the expectation of the people.
It is not the reality.
It is the reality even.
Perception
Let me tell you.
Excuse
Reality. Me. You know, let me tell you from the angle we are coming from. Number one, most of these petrol, diesel, and so on and so forth are being imported, right? Through debt equity.
PMS is the only one being subsidized.
Excuse me.
Do you know that?
Even at that. Now, something being produced, you see, extra costs are being added, right? To the PMS being imported. Are you with me? That is where the subsidy comes in to cushion the effects of that very. But now that is being produced locally, and assuming that guy is in business, are you with me? Is to make money. Though, however, all the things locally situated here, locally, and I think it's not being imported from overseas. The transportation cost and everything will be removed or reduced drastically, and as such, the prices are expected, you see, to be reasonable. And not only that, we have some similar projects. I mean, the same kind of projects being embarked upon by some investors, like Bua, and
yes.
Some others.
No, I think we have to.
I think the government. My point is that the government should have waited.
Now, how much do you think the subsidy is on PMS? How much is diesel selling for now?
Around 640 or something of that nature.
No, so at the point in time, it was selling for 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
Something was driving it up.
Okay.
Now, it is not subsidized.
Yes.
Industry uses it.
Yes.
But probably it's not even probably. We use on record.
PMS is the commonest item.
And it is used more than, in volume, we use it more than diesel.
Yes.
So,
anyway, let
me ask. How much do you think, if not subsidized, the market price of PMS will be?
The government made it clear.
Will it be higher than diesel?
It may not be higher than the diesel, but the government made it clear, or the players on the field, the investors, the sellers, said that it will be up to 532, 531, 500, 490.
So when we remove the cost of transportation from, South America, North America, wherever it is coming from, how much?
I think,
and after all taxes, how much do you think it will come to?
Like in the region of 170 or 180.
That is not I must tell you, that is not realistic. That is not realistic. Certainly, it is not going to be lower. It will not be lower than the way it is being sold now. I'm sure it will not be lower than how much it is being sold now.
It will be lower. It will be lower. It will be lower.
Because it is Dangote.
Yes. And let me tell you.
They will not buy crude oil.
They will buy crude oil. They will buy crude oil from the NNPC. Aside, it is not only a few years to come now. It will not be only Dangote. There are others, like the Bua.
Cost of production.
The cost of production.
Taxes.
Well, the government will introduce a favorable tax regime to make it convenient for people to purchase at reasonable lower prices, because people are already impoverished, and you see, removing this very kind of thing, right, will put the government and the labor movement on coalition course, and it will be terrible. The labor movement can grant. I mean the NLC and
which
other.
NLC?
Nigeria Labour
which
Congress.
strike did NLC call? When last did NLC call a strike, and when last did that strike hold?
Thank you. On the first instance, you see this very issue of
No.
is of common interest.
I think,
and it affects everybody.
I think
this one will hold.
I think you should respond.
And it will put the new government on coalition course with the
one day soon we will be back here and we will talk about.
All right.
One day soon.
Anyway, we are experimenting. You will see that they will grant the economy to a halt if it is actualized.
I asked a simple question. When last did NLC or TUC call a strike and that strike held?
Thank you.
And was effective?
Several places, several times.
Well,
Number one, excuse me. You know, the government of Buhari often retreated, right? Often resorted to retreating from defacing the hangars of the NLC.
Right? I put it to you that since the days of Adams Oshiomhole, in the days of Obasanjo, the NLC had lost its bite.
No, you will see.
Because
it's one of the posers. The labor movements sought to meet with the incoming administration. I think it was not to be, and I think those people, right, will make a categorical statement tomorrow. Mark it on oil subsidy, because the alternative solution is on site. Why removing it in a hurry? You should have allowed the Dangote Refinery to come into place. At least we managed it for 8 years. Why not wait for 3 months? Right? Why the panicking measures? Why the hurry? Why the haste?
What is panicking about what was done?
Panicking in the sense that, the government weighed in favor of the merits accruing to the removal of oil subsidy as against the interest of the welfare of the people.
The last subsidy protest we had in Nigeria was not organized by the labor. It was organized by the Save Nigeria group.
Anyway, in collaboration with the labor movement.
Who spearheaded it? They just joined. These are facts. These are facts.
Well, I think by that you should know that I was an insider and part of the struggle, right?
NNC labor has lost. I remember the days of.
You will see. I
remember very well in the days of Obasanjo, the woman, God bless her soul, the woman that was in the villa then as a spokesperson. I remember a cousin of mine would just say, XYZ, Oshio Baba has been here, he just left the villa. And then the next thing we will hear is that the strike has been called.
You will see.
And which in essence meant that as soon as Oshio Mole visited the villa, whatever exchanged hands, and that was the end of the strike. And the interest of the people will be mortgaged.
Time changes.
Well,
and you will see a new dimension.
Yes. Now coming home to Oyo State. You know what Seyi Makinde sworn into office for the second time in office. They won a landslide and defeated your party and your candidate.
Yes.
With a higher margin than it was even in 2019 when there was a coalition working for him. What are your thoughts on this governor, his first term?
Number one, each and every one of us knows what actually went amiss, or what actually took place during the last gubernatorial elections. Right? It was not of his objective making. Right? There was a sort of collaboration from our people.
Now you say our people, okay.
In the APC, including the new president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who actually thought that, he should actually appreciate.
These are speculations.
Not speculations. I'm a APC chieftain. Are you with me?
As far as we are
Excuse
concerned
me.
here, it is speculation.
I'm confirming to you. I'm confirming to you.
You have not
Right.
provided any evidence
Thank you.
to that effect.
Now, what I'm telling you is that politics at times does not need any documentary evidence because most of the things are discussed overnight. You see, you gloss over many things. I won't say more than that. Right? It was not, I could even say that it was a pirate entry. So, having said that, we need to return ourselves to faith.
People voted for him.
Yes,
The people of Oyo State.
including the APC loyalists and the dissidents within the party,
Why did they vote for him?
simply because there was a directive from the president, from the president that he should be compensated. He should be appreciated.
Compensated?
Yes, simply because he donated generously to the presidential campaign council, and aside from that, he
So
actually identified
Your people
himself
are
with
your people are zombies.
yes,
Your people,
some people,
APPP
some people,
members are zombies.
some people within the fold, right, who acted as detractors. Now I want to
You are
say,
talking about politicians now.
yes.
What is the ratio of politicians to the number of the people?
Thank you. Don't you know that the politicians influences the people a lot? Like I'm standing now, I can deliver 5,000 votes.
You tell people what to do.
Yes,
Gullible
they are
people.
not gullible people, practically minded people.
What do you tell them?
I tell them simply because we've been operating before friends, relatives, and so on and so forth. We've been relating for for quite some reasonable length of time, and aside, you see, they've seen one kind of benefit from me or the other, right? Some even appreciate me without even relating with them. So you try to educate, enlighten them.
Do you think Nibulanlo and this is the way we are going? Do you think it worked this election?
Yes, it worked. It worked. Politicians initiate and implement moves.
I was on
They
the
make
street.
things possible. Now, you said that, what do I expect? Right? From my own position, number one,
What's your assessment of his first time in office?
the assessment of his tenure.
Based on what he said he was going to do.
Number one, he did well regarding the workforce and the pensioners. I'm a pensioner myself. By paying promptly the salaries and the allowances, including the pensions, right? However, in terms of security, he failed.
Why do you say that?
Thank you. I said it simply because there are unresolved cases of murder. Unresolved case, the Iwo Road episode is there, and towards the elections, we had incidences of murder, political brigandages, and so on and so forth. Then on education,
Political brigandage.
Yes.
Ascribed to the governor.
yes, ascribed to his agencies, to his agents, most especially the PMS boys. Right? It was very glaring in Ibarapa and some Shaki and some.
There was an assassination of a PDP, whether council or whatever, right in his home, ascribed to your members of your own party to if we want to deal in,
Ibadan Southeast local
if
government.
we want to deal in
It
speculation.
was excuse me. It was the story was not fully explained because not only the PD councillor was killed, you see there were other casualties,
Reprisal.
reprisal attacks, right? So on security, I score in low. Then on environmental sanitation, I score in low too. Then let me talk about the education. The education on under Sheyi was grossly underfunded.
How do you mean?
Thank you. On the first instance, when you take a swipe,
His first year in office, it was 20% of, I think 22% of
it
the
was
budget.
not like we said the other time. We said estimates. Estimates does not translate or transform into real implementations. Go to schools, secondary schools most especially. The school managers, I mean the principals of
There
secondary
are
schools.
over 600 secondary schools.
Yes, the principals are not being given are not, the schools are underfunded. They are not being given adequate finances, money with which to run the schools.
With secondary
the schools are dilapidated. The school, most of all the students go to schools, they sat on bare floors. I have examples, Rita Penny and some other schools over there. Most of the schools most of the students sat on windows.
Don't you think fees should be charged? Over 600 secondary schools.
Thank you, but the government posited that, well, it is operating free education policy, and the textbooks are not given to the students. Even the exercise books, the notebooks which were distributed the other time, right, was scandal leading. And the initial ones given to the students, right, during that very particular time, were provided by produced by the Ajimabi administration. So what I want to say in that
balance because it's a continuum.
Yes, admission is a continuum.
That's why it's
agreed.
Projects.
However, he has not done well in terms of education management in our state. So that is just it.
Yes, they have the second
shortage of teaching personnel, dilapidated structures.
Employed 5,000 people in that sector.
Grossly inadequate.
Grossly inadequate.
Challenges.
All right. We're not sure when your administration was there. We're not sure how many there were employed.
Well.
Solutions 93.9 FM is this station. And it's a wrap on Political Update this Thursday afternoon, the 29th day of May, year 2023. And of course, it's Inauguration Day across the length and breadth of Nigeria. We wish the new governors and the re-elected ones, we wish them all the very best. And they should remember that they were elected to serve. And like the president said in his inaugural speech, they will not be ruling and reigning over us. They will be serving. Thank you so much for listening and watching. God bless you all. God bless our union. Bye for now.
Now midnight today, so you did receive one important call. Now so you just hear.
You have 1 minute remaining.
Sharp, you don't begin check your wallet. But to cash no come deal. How it for be if you go fit to recharge without cash and them still sama you bonus on top your recharge anytime? Your credit don't nearly finish? No wahala. Just download my MTN NG app to recharge your MTN line. I will make you dial star 904 hash to buy airtime straight from your bank account to Fiam any day, anytime, and enjoy 15% awoof bonus on top any amount where you recharge. That's so it be very easy. MTN, what we they do today?
Hey, ready energy day, ready sound day, ready news day, ready sport day, ready cut the day. Hey, now yeah, because you know the turn. We know the turn. Hey, we know the turn. Hey, energy day, everything day, yeah. I'm not just 3 to 9. I said you 100. Not just 3 to 9, so okay.
93.9, your remedy dial. What's up, IB City? This is Kobam Zasukwa, and you are locked down to the Remedy Dial, Solutions 939 FM. What's up, IB City? This is Kobam Zasukwa, and you are locked down to the Remedy Dial, Solutions 939 FM. What's up, IB City? This is Kobam Zasukwa, and you are locked down to the Remedy Dial, Solutions 939 FM.
I don't want miss am. I not go miss am. I could hear am.
Solutions 93.9 FM. Máa gbọ́ lójoojúmọ́.
tí wọ́n bá sọ̀rọ̀ olórin tó àpá o nílùú nàìjíríà adémọlá kọmi jackson ló yẹ lẹ́yìn àkọ́kọ́ o tẹ́ bá sọ pé rọ́tẹ́ lọ fòjòrókun instanta kẹyàwó solutions kọmi jackson kìí ṣe olórin àná ẹ̀yin tí èmi nílé lóko láàrin ọjà nílé epo èmi adémọlá kọmíjì ló ń sọ fún yín pé Solutions FM ní kẹ́ máa gbọ́ o ìkànnì 93.9 FM ọ̀nà àbáyọ ó ní kẹ́ máa gbọ́ tó bá ti ń gbọ́ Solution FM tó ti ń gbọ́ tó ti ń jó ó ti rí solution sọ̀rọ̀ ilé ayé yẹn ìdùnnú ti dé o ìbùkún ti dé o adémọlá súnlẹ̀lẹ̀ mo ti rọ́nà àbáyọ.